Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. This is Reality with Diva D. How you doing? So on this day, day 6 of Vlogmas, we did another thing. Can you believe it? I am doing the things. However, today is my last day, probably for a while, of doing Christmas shopping. So that's why I was trying to think, because y'all gonna make me spend all my money. Okay. So that's why I was trying to think of some other ideas to do for Vlogmas besides shopping. Because, like I said, for a while, I'm done. So, the thing that we did, me and my friend took our kids to see Wicked for Good. And when I say that movie to me is so deep, so meaningful, and so relevant to what we have going on in government right now. You know, where they're forcing their animals out for being able to talk, and they have this one green rebel who's everybody's against, and that just reminds me of so many black, what they call rebels during the civil rights movement. Especially, it reminds me of the Black Panther Party movement, because in all actuality, in my opinion, they are no more threatening. They were no more threatening than any other movement that we had going on. I mean, they started the lunch program, for goodness sake. So that's neither here nor there. So I thought that, she was the lone rebel, Elphaba, and the whole city of Oz was against her. And it just would surprise me when I was looking at Oz and I would see the black faces in that movie who were against her, because it seemed like that, um, even though they referenced these people to animals, it made me think of, like I said, the Black Panther movement, Cesar Chavez movement, all the movements where minorities had to, rise up against big government in order to get changes made. And seeing those black faces, it just reminded me that when we, in my opinion, as black people decide we want to join the machine and become a part of the machine, we will do that. We will become a part of groupthink, like with religion and gay marriage. To me, when a black person is against gay marriage, that's just like them saying that they are against marriage between a black man and a white woman, or a white woman and a white man and a black woman, or interracial marriage in general, because at one time that was illegal. So, what are we trying to do? And then they go back to the Bible and it says, well, this is unevenly yoked, or this vice versa. But um, let me draw back to Blockman. So that goes back to how I felt about the movie Wicked. To me, it was about civil unrest. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just about her being wicked. It was her story being told from the perspective of a green person living in a society where everybody else was considered to be perfect. And because she wasn't perfect, and she had this perfectly strange, what they perceived, power, then the whole city of Oz was against us. Do I recommend Oz? Absolutely. Um, my sister, me and my sister was talking, and I asked her, at what point do we really feel that I started to think that this movie, even back with Oz, because my sister watched The Wizard of Oz like religiously. And I think I told this before about how I always questioned, why was it that everybody was against this one woman, even, yeah, living on a hill to herself, not really bothering anybody? And technically, they did steal her shoes. landed on her sister. How was she supposed to feel? And even though the flying monkeys seemed like they were scary, they seemed more friendly to her and more protective of her than to scare the people. So, and then you bring in this wholesome, as Ethel would call her, mulish white girl, and she come to save Oz from the Wicked Witch. So I always question, well, not always, because hell, I was too little to question it. But when I started to understand civil rebellion, excuse me, and when I started to understand that she really wasn't bothering anybody, even in the movie. All the things in the movie, if you even look at the movie with Dorothy, the Dorothy story, which was the Wizard of Oz, you will see that she really was innocent, minding her own business. Here come these perfect strangers, destroying her shit, basically, and stealing from her, stealing her spells. Glinda not really having the power to read from that book. Now, even in the Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch had her book, right? So that's that on there. I don't want to get too deep into the film for those of you who haven't seen it, but it is a recommend. And I do think the movie was, I would give a movie out of, because, I rate by stars. I'll give that movie like 4 stars. 4.5, really. The singing, amazing. Cynthia Erivo, that voice, my goodness. Ooh, touched by the goddesses, honey. Notice I said goddesses. I said what I said. Now, because God is one. In case you didn't know, you better ask somebody. Next on the agenda. So we go out to eat, and for some reason these days I'm not having the best appetite. So I wanted some buffalo wings. So I had buffalo wings and cheese sticks, which is something that I get from Applebee's quite a bit. But hey, my buffalo wings were undercooked. Pink at the bone, but they were nice enough to, even though I had to prove myself that they weren't, cooked to perfection. Like I like them. Just thinking about that pink bone makes me sick. Now, hey, talk to me out there. Has anybody, are you all like me? Did your mother raise you like mine raised me? My mother always raised me to say, if you saw pink on the bone, then the food wasn't cooked properly. And so my friend that I was with, I kept saying, these are tough. And she was like, that's the point of when something is tough. So when the manager came out, she did try to explain it. They cook and drop them in very, very hot grease. And they may take them out a little too soon. So that's neither here nor there. Then we go shopping with the kiddos. Woo! See, these types of things in vlogs, I know that they film, but I really, honestly, I'm not a cameraman. And I know a lot of vloggers are not cameramen or women either, but I don't see how they are able to film every nuance. Because I'm talking about it and I can describe it. But if I had my camera up, then I don't think I would be able to concentrate on what I went into the store to do or watch my kids like I'm supposed to. But I mean, I see a lot of bloggers do it, but I'm just telling the story. How they were acting when we went in the store. They were being kids, honey, all over the place. But buying, picking up everything for me to buy. So a lot of the things that I did go ahead and buy because, like I said, I'm pretty much done with the Christmas shopping. And maybe we could talk about, me baking and me on my baking journey during these holidays, because tomorrow I am going to attempt another chocolate cake. This time I'm going to try to make it bigger because my family enjoyed the chocolate cake. see if you all could give me some ideas on how to make the chocolate cake different and better. Send me your chocolate cake ideas, recipes, not ideas, just recipes, so I can start learning to cook them to perfection without using recipes. But I'm going to attempt another one, see if I can make that one as tempting and delightful as the last one because they really loved it. I'm not a chocolate cake fan. I'm more of, like I said, the pound cake, coconut. Now I do like German chocolate cake, but just regular chocolate cake, devil food cake, ugh, no, no, no. Not that I said the cat. A yellow cake with chocolate icing. I don't really know that my mama, that people consider those chocolate cake. My mama used to always say it's just yellow cake with chocolate ices. That's what she would say. She never called that a chocolate cake. She thinks that if it's chocolate through and through. Tell me again down in the comments. Do you think that yellow cake with chocolate icing, is that considered chocolate cake to you as well? Um, Yellow cake to me. Or if you put chocolate icing on white cake, same thing. Come on in, like, comment, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell button. You will be notified when I upload a video. Share the video. Why? Because sharing is indeed caring, and as I do when I close, I'm going to chop them up. Deuces.